I have been wanting to do journalism, broadcast journalism, since I was 7 years old. When I went through school, I was doing public speaking contests. I was fairly successful at it. When I went through high school, I was writing a lot, sports journalism. When I got to college, I was doing radio. I was fortunate to get my first job in television at the age of 19. That's been a long time now, and I don't think a day has passed where I've regretted doing this for a living. It's just what I think I was meant to do. It's my passion. I love history. I get to witness it every day. I get to share that history with the community every day. It's pretty good. Well, between the rides, the concerts, and other events, there is a special place where rally-goers can commemorate their time here permanently. That's where we find News Center 1's Darsha Nelson this evening. Darsha.
Eric, that is right. It is hot.
You betcha.
No, it's never too early. Unfortunately, it's never too early to start thinking about winter in the Black Hills.
It could be late September.
Listen, if you think about it, 2 months from now is mid-October, and we've had blizzards in that time period. I mean, if you think about a year ago, we had Labor Day. It snowed on Labor Day.
Excuse me while I tune you out?
yeah, most people are like,
no,
go away.
not yet.
We don't want to talk about it. Well, how about this? 102 tomorrow. How's that for a change of pace? So it'll be on the hot side tomorrow. Make sure that we're being careful with the ignitions.
Is hanging up his racket. In a post on social media today, Federer announced his retirement from competitive tennis. In his post, he said he was given a special talent to play tennis and reach levels he never imagined. But Federer also said he has realized his body's limits after playing more than 1,500 matches over 24 years. However, he said he will continue to play tennis in the future, but just not in Grand Slams or on the tour. Federer said next week's Laver Cup in London will be his last ATP event. Last month, 23-time Grand Slam champion Serena Williams announced she would step away from tennis following the U.S. Open, in which she was eliminated in the third round.
It's like the extraction of legends in the tennis world.
I know. We're getting some younger tennis players moving up, so a lot of new faces, it seems like.
Really really making a name for themselves quickly.
They really are, and they're young. They're so young, so we're going to see them for several years.
You know what's the problem is? Everybody's young compared to us now. We'll be back with the only car that Ford still makes in this country. Ford, which says it has a better idea, also has an all-new Mustang, and it's not electric. The 2024 model unveiled in Detroit last night. It is a new body design and new engine options, but for now they're going to stick with pure gasoline power. Buyers are going to be able to choose between an improved 5.0-liter V8 engine or a 2.3-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine that produces even more power and burns less fuel in the 4-cylinder engine. It comes after Ford announced plans to make the hybrid version of the Mustang back in 2017, but with its other fully electric cars, Ford decided it wasn't needed in order for the automaker to meet its emissions reduction targets. The Mustang is the last car, as opposed to a truck or SUV, that Ford still sells in this country. The new model is the 7th design generation of the Mustang. It'll go on sale next summer. What do you think? It doesn't look like a Mustang to me, except
especially that picture right there. Yeah.
Nah, I don't know.
They've changed it quite a bit.
Give me Steve McQueen's bullet car. That's what I say. That's a Mustang.
I don't know.
What do you think, Bob?
I like it. I like the look. I like the look. I like the EV aspect of it as well.
But you know, if somebody wants to give one, I'm going to turn it down.
Yeah, you would take it. You wouldn't turn it.
No,
you would not turn it down at all.
No, I'm making that official.
Okay, there you have it.
Okay, it's on the record.
All right, let's get the 7-day forecast up there. And there you go. Cooler temperatures will continue. 77 tomorrow, 77 as we start the weekend. Look for some scattered showers and thunderstorms tomorrow during the afternoon, early evening hours. And some of those thunderstorms could be on the strong side, so we'll be watching that for you. 79 on Sunday, plenty of sunshine. That'll carry into Monday, a warm day on Monday. Looks like that would be the warmest day of the 7 days, 90 degrees, 86 on Tuesday. Down into the 60s with some rain Wednesday and Thursday.
That's going to feel awfully chilly. All right, we have more news and information coming up in just a moment on News Center 1 at 6. Please stay tuned.
This is News Center 1 at 10.
Tuesday night, better is better, but it doesn't mean it's particularly good. This was Wall Street's worst day of the year. Why? Well, the key August inflation report came in higher than expected, hurting investor optimism for cooling prices and a less aggressive Federal Reserve when it comes to interest rates. The Dow tanked today, 1,276 points, closing at 31,104.97. The S&P 500 down 177 to 9232.69. And the Nasdaq lost 632 points, ending today's session at 11,633. As for that inflation report for August, it eased up a bit for the second straight month, but it was still higher than economists expected. The Consumer Price Index growing 8.3% from August of last year, which is a notable drop from the 8.5% that was reported in July. The slower pace of annual price hikes correlates with the big drop in gas prices, which have come down from record highs in June. However, analysts say inflation is still high. Annual price gains are far from where they were 18 months ago and from the Federal Reserve's target inflation rate of 2%. Food prices shot up 11.4% over the past year, the biggest increase since 1979. Everything from eggs and flour to milk and meat. And it's not just inflation. Food prices are affected by global events. The war in Ukraine, for example, which affects the cost of wheat and other things that we buy. And then you've got natural disasters. Droughts have been killing crops, and the avian flu has affected the supply of eggs and turkeys. So we may see interest rates going up next week. That's what everybody thinks the Federal Reserve is going to do. What about temperatures? They're kind of holding steady, Bob.
For at least for another day, and then I believe on Thursday, well, no, on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, you can see these temperatures cool off. But the temperatures tomorrow in the 80s. I'm watching two weather events. The first weather event I'm keeping an eye on is this time tomorrow evening. We expect to see some light rain showers passing through the Black Hills, and the reason for
p.m. What comes after school? Well, students at South Dakota Mines today got a preview of opportunities awaiting them in the working world. Over 200 businesses and vendors represented at this afternoon's career fair, the largest event of its kind in the school's history. Companies from here and around the country setting up shop in two gymnasiums as students flooded into the King Center, resumes in hand, waiting to discuss their futures. Some of the company reps themselves Mines graduates.
So about 60% of our students will take their first full-time job offer from an employer that recruits at our career fair. In addition to the full-time offers, employers are coming for internships and co-ops, and roughly about 75% of our students will do at least one internship or co-op before they graduate.
The School of Mines holds a career fair each semester. Students at the School of Mines, well, they're going to be pretty happy to hear the results of this new survey. It reveals the least regrettable college degree is engineering. News Center 1's Christina Holliday tonight on why engineers have no regrets.
According to the survey by the Federal Reserve, Christina Holliday, News Center 1.
Meals on Wheels is in need of more drivers, 13 of them to be exact. The group provides meals to over 1,600 West River seniors in 52 communities during the week. Volunteers are obviously a major part of this effort, those who commit an hour or two each week to help make the deliveries. Meals on Wheels now adding another route, which means they need 13 more drivers to help with the deliveries and to connect with the recipients.
The impact that it has on the seniors is phenomenal. The way they just light up getting to see somebody, because sometimes the volunteer is the only person they see that day.
Meals on Wheels works with a program that can reimburse volunteers for their driving mileage. If you're interested in volunteering, we have a link to their website on nc1.tv. Rapid City's bike path about to get fenced off. We will explain why coming up. And the monkeypox virus in this country reaching a new level. It doesn't happen often, but it does and can kill.
This is News Center 1 with Eric Greene, Bob Riggio.
Hawks each scored 2 goals for the Raiders, and it was Spearfish all over the Sturgis Scoopers tonight, 7-1. On the girls' side, Stevens shut out the Cavaliers 6-0. The Raiders improved to 6-3 on the season. Also, Spearfish shut out Sturgis by a final score of 4-0. Now to girls' high school tennis, Rapid City Stevens earned 2 more victories today. The Raiders swept Rapid City Central and then beat Spearfish 6-3 to improve to 17-0 on the season. And finally tonight, Minnesota played host to the Kansas City Royals this evening. It was like a home run derby for the Twins. Carlos Correa smacks a 2-run homer in the 5th inning, and the Twins go up 4-0 at that point. Later on in the 5th, Jose Miranda sends one into the seats in left field for yet another home run, and Minnesota takes care of Kansas City tonight by a final score of 6-3.
The Twins have been playing some inspired ball lately, even when they lost to the Guardians the other night, Saturday, I think, and they were down 6-0 going into the bottom of the 9th at home and had the winning run at the plate, who he grounded out, but still.
Yeah, they're sitting 3rd place there in their division, so they, down the stretch here in the final few weeks, they need to pick up a few more wins if they want to keep their shot alive of making the playoffs.
Looks like they're trying.
Yep.
All right, back with more News Center 1 in just a moment.
This is News Center 1 at 10.
Monday night, a young Pine Ridge woman reported missing tonight. She is 19-year-old Annie Maria Teresa Brokennose. She was last seen leaving her home on the night of Tuesday, September 13th, 6 days ago. Her family says she was going to go walk to a friend's home. Brokennose, 5'8", 137 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. If you have any information on her whereabouts, you are urged to call OST Public Safety at 605-867-5111 or your local police agency. Other news tonight, final approval for the Rapid City budget for fiscal 2023. The Common Council tonight approving the spending plan by affirmation along with some other items. This was actually the second reading of the budget tonight. The first second reading was 2 weeks ago. That was approved, but with the addition of $80,000 for a sustainability coordinator. That position would help with strategic planning, collaborating with community organizations, education, and outreach. The budget also calls for a raise for the mayor. That job hasn't had a salary increase since 2008. There are also funding increases to help in part with salaries and cost of living and to hire 6 additional police officers. A record heat can mean fire, and we had both today, and we had a wildfire in the middle of Rapid City threatening homes and forcing several to be evacuated. The grass fire starting at around noon in the area of Neptune Drive in Star Village. A large amount of smoke was visible, and once on scene, firefighters say they could see the flames moving quickly. Rapid City Police helped coordinate traffic, closing Signal Drive while crews fought the fire. RCPD also assisted with a handful of evacuations when flames got uncomfortably close to some homes. Quick work was made by crews despite the fact that they were facing the trifecta of dry, hot, and windy conditions.
Whenever you mix all of those together, it causes for concern. So we have crews that have to move quick. So they have to try and get ahead of this fire and put a stop on it as quick as possible, especially because, as you can see, there's homes in this area and the fire was pushing towards those homes.
Most of the firefighters were able to leave the scene as of 3 o'clock, with a few remaining to monitor conditions and look at any hot spots and take care of those. And as I mentioned, we did have a record high temperature today. Bob is here to tell us all about that and other things.
Well, let's start off with the Hurricane Fiona out. Will it cool off? I'll tell you that as well during weather. Eric, let me throw it back to you.
All right, Bob, thanks. 71 years later, and we are now just learning that a U.S. Army private from the South Dakota side of Standing Rock died as a POW in the Korean War. Melvin Little Bear was accounted for in July by the Defense POW MIA accounting office, but his family only recently received their full briefing on his identification. That's why we're finding out now. Private First Class Little Bear was 21 years old when in February of 1951, he was reported missing in action. His unit had been attacked by the Chinese People's Volunteer Forces. He was captured and held at a prisoner of war camp in North Korea. Chinese and North Korean military said Little Bear died in captivity 5 months later. Then in 1954, remains from the POW camp were returned to United Nations Command, but they couldn't be identified. They were buried at a national cemetery in Hawaii in 1956. 63 years later, in 2019, 23 of the remains were exhumed and transferred to a lab at Joint Base Pearl Harbor in Hawaii for analysis. Scientists used dental and anthropological analysis as well as circumstantial evidence to make a positive ID on Private First Class Little Bear. He will be buried back home in McLaughlin's Corson County on Friday, September 30th. Other news, an armed robbery at a casino on Rapid City's west side. Police hope you can help identify the suspect. RCPD says it happened Sunday afternoon just before 4 at the 777 in the 2700 block of Main Street, West Main. An employee says the man in the photo came in showing a gun, demanding cash. The suspect then ran out the back of the building onto Whitewood Street. The suspect was wearing fairly noticeable red shoes, khaki pants, a gray hoodie, and a dark bandana. If you have any information on the robbery or the suspect, you are urged to call RCPD Detective Brittany Vogel. Her number 605-394-4134. You can also text an anonymous tip with the letters RCPD and your information to 847-411. Did you know that the Pennington County Sheriff's Office is the only law enforcement agency in South Dakota that has physical fitness standards for their corrections officers? Well, several officers from the jail and from the Juvenile Services Center today completed the course. There is a series of obstacles broken up by running down and climbing up many flights of stairs, which is made to mimic some of the physical tasks that corrections officers face at work. The training manager, Tony Verchio, says physical fitness is a huge part of keeping the officers safe, and it's also key to their lives outside of work.
They work in the jail around inmates all day, so that's very stressful. We know that physical exercise is a very healthy way long-term to be able to deal with that stress instead of just letting it build up. And again, we're hoping that an annual fitness test will encourage them to get out and continue to work out throughout the year.
The corrections officers maneuver around cones, push and pull a sled, and finally crawl and hurdle to the finish with a goal of finishing in less than 5 minutes. You can see News Center 1's Anna Hamlin there. She completed the course in under 4 minutes. Rapid City officials with a warning to anyone who's heading to the Roosevelt Swim Center. Please leave your shampoo and any other soapy materials in the locker room. Back on Friday, pool staff noticed an extraordinary amount of bubbles in the hot tub, and they were not caused by the jets, but rather some type of soap or shampoo. It was not a prank. Someone added a solution to the water because they had sensitive skin. Now, when foreign chemicals are added to the water, they can potentially ruin the filtration system or cause the hot tub to shut down indefinitely. City hopes to use this incident as a teaching moment.
Pool areas are carefully monitored. We have certified pool operators that carefully monitor the temperature, the chemical composition of our pools and our hot tubs. So want to try to prevent any other outside agents getting in, and it can have a dramatic impact on our filtration systems. Luckily, this incident didn't cause any damage to our filtration system.
The Roosevelt hot tub, by the way, is back open and very, very clean. Up next tonight from News Center 1, the Queen, the procession and the funeral of Elizabeth II, a day that took years of planning. And we'll take a look at what's next for the nation when we continue tonight.
This is News Center 1 with Eric Greene, Bob Riggio, and Justin Wickersham.
Queen Elizabeth II has been laid to rest. Thousands of people lining the streets to say a final goodbye to a monarch who reigned longer than anyone else in the British Empire. Today's royal funeral was in the planning stages for years. Isabel Rosales in Windsor tonight.
The Queen's burial brings to a close a 10-day period. In Windsor, I'm Isabel Rosales reporting.
Bob back with the 7-day forecast. Let you know if we have a cool down on the way and any rain when News Center 1 continues.
And a little bit of early morning showers on Thursday. And the rest of the 7-day forecast, we have it there for you. We're going to try to warm these temperatures up a little bit. It looks like 75 on Friday, 73 on Saturday. Not much in the way of any moisture for the next 7 days, just a few little sprinkles here and there overnight. That's about it. But temperature's definitely going to cool off.
That's good, because today,
that is good.
Today just felt brutal, and it wasn't even the hottest day we've had. So a couple now calling the Black Hills home and how they share their heritage deliciously when we come back.
Dear road rivals.
Pretty good start to the week on Wall Street. Not spectacular, but good. Stocks closing higher ahead of the Federal Reserve's two-day policy meeting that is slated to start tomorrow. Economists expect another interest rate hike by the central bank. The Dow Industrial's up 197 points today to 31,019. The Nasdaq up 26.5 to just under 3,900. And the Nasdaq gaining 86 points, ending the session at 11,535 and change. For over 30 years now, the United States has recognized September 15th through October 15th as Hispanic Heritage Month. It is a time to honor the culture, the history, and contributions of Latin Americans in this country, just like one couple in Hill City. News Center 1's Christina Holiday with their story. Two local college football players honored by the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. And the Minnesota Vikings travel to Philadelphia this evening to face the Eagles, whether they wanted to or not. Justin with the scores and the action coming up. The 9th annual Bishop's Golf Classic today at Arrowhead Country Club. Golfers hitting the links to raise money for the Western South Dakota Catholic Foundation, along with the Rapid City Catholic Schools and Catholic Social Services. As for the tournament, it's about fun as much as raising money.
That is the big
supports the work of the Western South Dakota Catholic Foundation, which houses lots of funds for things like our Catholic schools, Catholic social services, and other ministries.
One was a proud sponsor of today's event. We didn't know if the bishop maybe was going incognito with the sunglasses or not.
Oh.
But it's a great cause.
It is a good cause, and I talked to the bishop for a little bit. I said, last year you said you're going to play in this year's tournament, and he still hasn't played. And he said, I grabbed one club during the entire year, and that was it.
Did he have anything else to talk to you about?
No, well,
okay.
No. All right, there you go. Temperatures a little bit cooler. Tomorrow, 79. Temperatures in the 60s on Wednesday and Thursday.
All right, Jimmy Fallon up next with Margot Robbie, Bobby Moynihan, and music from Nathaniel Ratliff. Have a peaceful night.